Well, this is it, folks. Finally, we've reached the last group of gym leaders that we have to rank. It's been quite a long journey up to this point, but we've reached the Galar region and it's 10 gym leaders, and we've got to rank them. I guess it means you guys just have to sit back and enjoy as I present to you the Galar gym leaders from weakest to strongest. Alright, so we're going to start off with what has become just such an obvious way with the very first gym leader in Galar. That means we're opening up with Milo, and I gotta say, I really don't plan to just throw the first gym leaders here as the weakest in the region. I mean, yeah, they kind of are, and that's why they're your first challenge, but as we know, that doesn't mean they still can't be an actual challenge, regardless of how early on they are. However, in Milo's case, he really is the worst of the region. Now that being said, Milo isn't an incredible pushover. He has a Pokemon at level 20, which almost feels unthinkable for a first gym leader, but considering the way Sword and Shield are scaled, it isn't all that surprising. Milo's Pokemon are a level 19 Gossifleur and a level 20 Eldegoss, the latter of which Dynamaxes during the battle. That Eldegoss is a fully evolved Pokemon, so its base stats are pretty decent, with 120 base special defense and 90 base defense. There are a lot of early options for dealing with grass types though, whether it be choosing Scorbunny as your starter or having a Corvisquire on your side. And with both of those being physical attackers, you won't have much of an issue taking out Eldegoss at all. Like I said, being the first gym leader unfortunately is held against Milo pretty hard, but even then, it still isn't all that threatening of a team to begin with. This probably won't surprise you guys too much, but the second weakest gym leader on this list is the one that comes right after Milo, the water type user, Nessa. She is unfortunately another rather easy challenge for her typing, not really boasting great Pokemon, and especially lacking good ways to deal with grass type Pokemon. So if you're using Flaky at this point, you're going to probably tear apart this gym battle. She uses a level 22 Goldeen, which is just such a bad Pokemon, unable at this point to take advantage of its somewhat decent physical attack stat. Then there's Arrokuda at level 23, which boasts a decent speed stat and attack stat, but with Aqua Jet being its only truly good move on this set, it just isn't any sort of challenge. Finally, there's the Dreadnought that Dynamaxes, and if it was her lead Pokemon, it would be better. Now that being said, her Dreadnought can be a little bit of a problem as a Dynamax, as its Razor Shell will become the Dynamax water move, Max Geyser, with 130 base power and a chance to bring the rain, so even a grass-type Pokemon might take a hard hit from that. That being said, however, Dreadnought does have a 4 times weakness to grass types, and even with the HP boost from Dynamaxing, it probably wouldn't be able to take a special attacking grass-type move super well. When you take that all into consideration, the Pokemon that you can find on the way to a battle with Nessa will make her battle with her a lot easier. But I will say, the difficulty gap between her and Milo is a very real one. I'm sure you guys might be thinking you'd see Kabu here, but actually that isn't the case. No, instead it's the fighting type leader, B. Now, I do like B, and she is an incredibly popular character among the fanbase, but that doesn't change the fact that she just isn't a really big challenge in the games. The big problem for B is that Sword and Shield really equip you for being able to take on fighting types, with Pokemon like Orbeetle, Butterfree, and Corviknight being available by the time you're battling her, and even being able to Gigantamax, giving them an extra little push to be even stronger. Her Pokemon are by no means bad on paper, a Hitmontop at level 34 being her lead Pokemon, followed by a level 34 Pangoro and level 5 Sirfetch'd, all headlined by a level 36 Gigantamax Machamp. It's pretty impressive. Now, while her team is easily beatable, and that is a bit of an issue, there is a lot of potential here to be annoying. Now, that Hitmontop is absolutely awful, honestly. Its best move is probably Revenge, but it won't be taking a powerful Psychic or Flying type move all that well, regardless of its good base defenses, and that's mainly due to its absolutely awful HP. That Pangoro is going to get bodied by any sort of Fairy type move, especially if it is a special attack. And really there's nothing to worry about with Bullet Punch, as many non-fairies can get their hands on a move like Dazzling Gleam. Sirfetch'd can be dangerous thanks to Swords Dance, but it's another Pokemon that's going to suffer when dealing with a Fairy type Pokemon, or just a Fairy type move in general. Finally, there is that Machamp, and honestly, it's not good. Half of its moveset is Strength and Scary Face, and the other half is Knock Off and Revenge. I know I brought up the good Pokemon like Orbeetle, Butterfree, and Corviknight that you could possibly have, but really, if you just go into this battle with a Fairy type, there's really not much of anything that B can do to you. It's a shame it's so easy. Well, we've talked about B, and funny enough, now we'll be discussing her shield counterpart here at number 7, Alistair. I didn't really plan for this to be the case, but oddly enough, it makes sense. Alistair is once again not a bad trainer on paper at all, but his team for some reason is a couple of good Pokemon that are put together so weirdly. His Pokemon are a level 34 Galarian Yamask and Mimikyu, then a level 35 Cursula, and level 36 Gigantamaxing Gengar. There is one move that is carried among 3 Pokemon on this team, and that is Hex, which under some circumstances is actually an absolutely great move. However, here's the problem. None of these Pokemon have a move that actually causes causes a status ailment. Honestly, the only Pokemon here that can be seen as being all that good is probably Cursula, and that's due to its asinine special defense and outstanding special attack. Though even then, it has Curse, which just slows it down and boosts 2 of its weakest stats and just 2 other moves that it doesn't necessarily make the most of, since, like I said, no Pokemon on this team makes usage of a status-inducing move, and that's just a huge misstep here. Alright, you know what? I'm wrong about that, because Hypnosis is a move on Gengar, so it can induce an ailment. But here's the thing, Gengar is more than likely always going to be the final Pokemon Alistair sends out, so the other Pokemon wouldn't be able to reap the benefits of the one move that will cause an ailment. This isn't a horrible team, and Hex can still do some good damage, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, now it's time for Kabu. That's right, the first half of this list is filled with the first half of the gym challenge. Go figure. Anyway, I'd say of the first 4 gym leaders you face in either game, Kabu definitely poses the biggest challenge, especially with his lineup of Pokemon. Ninetales and Arcanine are no slouches, and that Gigantamax Centiskorch, whew. While he has less Pokemon than Alistair and B, he gets more out of his than they do within their 4. He's got Will-O-Wisp on both his Ninetales and Arcanine, which is easily an aggravating thing to deal with, especially if your team is pretty physical. Now the moves on Ninetales aren't super intimidating, being Fire Spin and Ember, but man, with that 81 base special attack and 100 base speed, it can hit you a bit hard and end up dealing you a bit of residual damage thanks to Fire Spin. Arcanine is really even better with that 95 base speed and 110 attack, along with a pretty good stab move in Flame Wheel and Bite for coverage. These are 2 Pokemon that have a good shot at outspeeding you and doing good damage as well. However, the best of the Pokemon that Kabu has is that Gigantamaxing Centiskorch, which is specially bulky with 90 base special defense and 100 base HP, as well as 115 base attack, which it makes great use of Flame Wheel and Bug Bite. It can also set up with Smokescreen too, to help ruin your accuracy, and it has Coil to make its poor defense better. You'll end up getting hit pretty hard by it, but should you be using a somewhat decent flying type that isn't weak to fire or a rock type, you'll be able to tear through it probably without much of a problem. Regardless of whether you have a rock type or not, Kabu's team can be sort of a challenge, and definitely the hardest of the first half of your Galar Gym challenge. We open up this second half of the list with the rock type user and son of fellow gym leader Melanie, the ever popular Gordy. Honestly, the second half of the gym challenge in Galar is a much steeper hill to climb, and while Gordy is the easiest, I don't want to sell short the fact that he is a really tough challenge. We start off with a Shuckle at level 40, which right off the bat I can tell you it has the possibility to be very annoying. Power Split is something you can easily combat, but not knowing about it can lead to some issues, as Shuckle will suddenly be able to do some damage of Stone Edge while also being a defensive juggernaut. Honestly though, you should be able to get through this Shuckle with well-placed water and rock type attacks, regardless of the great defense. That's what happens when you have a base 20 HP stat. The other Pokemon Gordy has is a level 40 Barbaracle of Shell Smash that can definitely give you a hard time if it is set up, as Razor Shell is a nice counter for any ground types you may have brought in for this battle, and it can hit fighting types pretty well too. The next one is a level 41 Stonejourner, and it's definitely the easiest of the Pokemon to deal with thanks to that awful base 20 special defense. Though it does have Wonder Room, which will switch the defense stats of both it and your Pokemon, so while you'll gain a massive physical defense stat, you'll have nothing on the special end. Then finally, there is Gigantamax Colossal. At level 42, it has Tar Shot, which boosts its fire-type move's power as well as lower the opponent's speed, and with Steam Engine, it'll get faster when it's hit with water-type moves. It can really cause major damage even to water types with Rock Tomb, and it's a Pokemon that tries to slow you down while speeding itself up. All in all, Gordy is a challenge even if you're prepared. So coming up here at number 4 is the Fairy-type gym leader, Opal. I know some of you guys seem to think Opal is the strongest gym leader in Galar, but I don't really see it. I can understand it to an extent as her Togekiss has Air Slash, but it doesn't have Serene Grace for an ability, and instead has the useless Hustle. Now, she has a good Pokemon in the sense that there is a variety that deals with fairy weaknesses, as there is a level 36 Galarian Weezing and Mawile, as well as a level 38 Gigantamax Alcremie. The major thing that holds this team back though, is that the only fairy-type move this team has, shared amongst most of the Pokemon, is Draining Kiss, with Fairy Wind being Weezing's fairy move. That being said, the Pokemon on the team are good. The Gigantamax Alcremie can use Sweet Kiss to confuse Pokemon and set up Acid Armor so it can take hits better on the physical side. And with Draining Kiss, it does have a stab move to help it recover some of the health it'll inevitably use. The Mawile is also in a position to set up its defenses, and since it can't be affected by poison types, you'll need to rely on Fire, as Weezing has Levitate and Togekiss is a flying type, making running ground moves a little risky. Sludge is a really good move that Weezing has, which can stop your fairy types as well as Rillaboom if that's your starter. Her Mawile is a bit of a waste though, as it has no stab physical move on its set. There are good Pokemon with fantastic defenses and typings on this team that make it a step ahead of the other leaders listed so far, but by no means could I see Opal being a top 3 gym leader. So I'd like to hear from those of you who find her to be the hardest. Wow. Who could have seen this coming? There's only one gym leader in all of Galar who refuses to Dynamax his Pokemon, and he ends up in the top 3 of the strongest gym leaders based on his own merits. That's right, it's Pierce and his Dark-type Pokemon, particularly that great Obstagoon he has. It has got Obstruct, Throat Chop, Counter, and Shadow Claw for moves, and is level 46. And man, is that just great. Throat Chop is a fantastic stab move that will deal pretty severe damage to your Pokemon, and Shadow Claw has got great critical hit potential. You won't want to get caught by Obstruct either, because all you'll do is make it easier for Obstagoon to take you out with that 90 base attack and 95 base speed. His other Pokemon are definitely scary too, with Malamar and its multiple critical hit moves being the worst of it. Foul Play will take its toll on your strongest attackers, and Payback can be dang good too, since Malamar doesn't have the best speed. Its typing is really nice, but a good bug type move, which is definitely accessible at this point, will give it the business. Same for all the other Pokemon on this team, except for Skuntank and Scrafty, the latter of which will not enjoy any fairy type attacks. It does have Brick Break and Payback though, which are a couple of great stab moves that can put the hurting on your team. I will say that what holds Pierce back from being higher on this list is just that refusal to Dynamax his Pokemon, as having max move and an HP boost in his Obstagoon would be a big addition to any already dominant team. We move on now to our penultimate trainer, and before I tell who it is, I want to explain just how hard of a choice this was. The final 2 leaders, Melanie and Raihan, are both very difficult battles, but for very different reasons. Melanie has some strong Pokemon like Galarian Darmanitan, Ice-Cube, and Gigantamax Lapras, while Raihan forces you to compete in double battles and makes fantastic use of the weather in what is possibly the most competitive-esque gym battle Pokemon has ever featured. However, finally I decided that the competitive nature of the Battle of Raihan was enough to edge out Melanie, thus placing the Ice-type user as the second strongest in the region. Melanie uses that Gigantamax Lapras to great success, and with G-Max Resonance setting up Aurora Veil for Lapras, and Ice-Cube and Frostmoth running Hail, it just makes this battle a real pain. Ice-Cube will regrow its Ice Face thanks to the Hail as well, meaning it can be an aggravating Pokemon to try and take out, especially with its ability to use Amnesia. To think I've not even said a word about the Galarian Darmanitan. It has Zen mode instead of Guerrilla Tactics, but dang guys, that ability is just as good too. Darmanitan has Taunt, which will prevent you from being able to ruin its powerful attack stat with Will-O-Wisp, and with that base 95 speed, it's very possible it can outspeed you. Though when it enters Zen mode, it'll definitely be outspeeding you. An Icicle Crash will be a majorly threatening move. It's got Fire Fang on the set too, so it'll have some extra stab for when it's in the Zen mode. So really being able to overcome Melanie comes down to being able to hit that Lapras hard and taking out that Darmanitan before its Zen mode has a chance to absolutely annihilate you. Melanie is just so close to being the strongest gym leader in this region. But unfortunately, despite her great team, she just gets beaten out. Well, you guys already know, but the strongest gym leader in Galar is the master of the weather manipulation, Raihan. His team is built to work through a sandstorm, which is arguably the most annoying of the different weather effects. His level 46 Gigalith has Sandstream, which sets up that sandstorm, and Sandaconda has Sand Split, so if it gets hit with an attack, it'll set up another sandstorm. From there, his Gigalith can set up Stealth Rocks, and can turn to Body Press to do major damage to ice types. Flygon offers him general coverage, with moves like Thunder Punch and Crunch, and that Sandaconda has Fire Fang to fight against ice types, as well as having the ability to lower your Pokemon's speed with Glare. Finally, he's got a Gigantamax Duraludon with insane moves that gets access to G-Max Depletion that can really mess with your moveset if it's used a few times. That Heavy Metal ability goes super well with Body Press too, so you'll need to deal with this Duraludon quickly. And even then, it's deceivingly quick. Raihan is just so good, and even if Melanie would give him a hard time in a one-on-one battle, he can't be unseated as the strongest leader in Galar. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for this ranking. We've done it. We've ranked every single gym challenge across all regions, and it feels good to have finally wrapped this little series up. Though I've gotta say, now that I've ranked all the leaders, it makes me wonder, who is the strongest gym leader? Well, that may be a question best saved for another day. Anyway, let me know down below if you guys agree and who you think the strongest leader in Galar is. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you guys enjoyed this content, maybe you'll enjoy my anime content and gaming content as well. I do a lot of anime top 10s and discussions, and with the gaming channel, I play Pokemon and everything Nintendo. Also follow me on social media so you get updates about when I go live on Twitch or when I upload in general. Links for all that will be in the description below. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there, and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.